India but across the world, also sports and business. I'm Shreya. Let's look at the top stories that we are tracking at this hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserts democracy is the heritage of the country and should not be taken lightly. Touches upon the painful days of emergency. Addresses the nation in his signature radio show Mann Ki Baat, first time after his second term. Says he had not returned to office but the people had brought him back. PM Modi expresses concern over the water crisis in the country, calls upon the people to make water conservation a mass movement on the lines of Swachh Bharat. Also appeals to them to share traditional methods for water conservation and information concerning people working in the field. Government to introduce further reforms in GST today to mark 2 years of the rollout reforms. Reforms include introduction of new return system, rationalization of cash ledger system and a single refund disbursing mechanism among others. The annual pilgrimage to the 3,880-meter high holy cave shrine Amarnath begins today. A multi-tier security grid has been formed for the security of the pilgrims. Non-subsidized LPG cylinders to be cheaper by 100 rupees from today. The cooking gas in Delhi has been priced at 637 rupees per cylinder as against 737 rupees and 50 paise currently. Subsidized cooking gas price will be 494 rupees per cylinder. And in ICC Cricket World Cup, Sri Lanka to take on West Indies at the Emirates Riverside Ground in Durham today. Sri Lanka stands 7th in the points table, whereas the men from the Caribbean are on a disappointing 9th place. Meanwhile, India concede a 31-run defeat by England. Let's begin with our top story. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Sunday resumed his monthly radio broadcast program Mann Ki Baat and said that the unique program is like a mirror to India's social life and shows the people's resilience, power and talent to achieve higher milestones. Talking about the emergency, PM Modi said that the resistance against the national emergency in the 1970s was not limited to the political arena or politicians, but even general public felt that something was snatched from them. Let's listen in.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi touched upon the painful days of emergency that the country witnessed. Talking about that period, the PM said that every citizen of the country felt that something has been snatched away from them during emergency.
जब देश में आपातकाल लगाया गया, तब उसका विरोध सिर्फ राजनीतिक दायरे तक सीमित नहीं रहा था, राजनेताओं तक सीमित नहीं रहा था, जेल के सलाखों तक आंदोलन सिमट नहीं गया था। जन जन के दिल में एक आक्रोश था। आपातकाल में देश के हर नागरिक को लगने लगा था कि उसका कुछ छीन लिया गया है।
He said that democracy is India's heritage and lack of it was severely felt during the national emergency.
शायद दुनिया के किसी देश में वहां के जन जन ने लोकतंत्र के लिए अपने बाकी हकों की, अधिकारों की, आवश्यकताओं की परवाह न करते हुए सिर्फ लोकतंत्र के लिए मतदान किया हो, तो ऐसा एक चुनाव इस देश ने 77 में देखा था। हाल ही में लोकतंत्र का महापर्व, बहुत बड़ा चुनाव अभियान हमारे देश में संपन्न हुआ। अमीर से लेकर गरीब सभी लोग इस पर्व में खुशी से हमारे देश के भविष्य का फैसला करने के लिए तत्पर थे।
Prime Minister Modi said that we should not take our invaluable democracy for granted.
हमें जो बहुमूल्य लोकतंत्र मिला है, उसे हम बहुत आसानी से ग्रांटेड मान लेते हैं, लेकिन हमें स्वयं को यह याद दिलाते रहना चाहिए कि हमारा लोकतंत्र बहुत ही महान है। भारत में 2019 के लोकसभा चुनाव में 61 करोड़ से ज्यादा लोगों ने वोट दिया, 61 करोड़। जितने मतदाताओं ने 2019 के लोकसभा चुनाव में वोट दिया, उनकी संख्या अमेरिका की कुल जनसंख्या से भी ज्यादा है। 2019 का लोकसभा का चुनाव अब तक के इतिहास में दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा लोकतांत्रिक चुनाव था।
PM Modi hailed the humongous scale at which Lok Sabha elections 2019 were held. Talking about the magnitude of the task of holding peaceful and smooth elections, PM said that this is the real respect for democracy. Bureau Report, DD News.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave a clarion call to citizens, urging people from all walks of life, including celebrities to those performing folk music, to launch a nationwide campaign on water conservation. Let's listen into that.
In his first Mann Ki Baat in second term, Prime Minister Narendra Modi raised the issue of water conservation. Highlighting the importance of water conservation, PM Modi gave a clarion call to people of the country to adopt methods to conserve water. He exuded confidence that 130 crore countrymen will find a solution to the problem of water scarcity.
आपको आश्चर्य होगा कि साल भर में वर्षा से जो पानी प्राप्त होता है, उसका केवल 8% हमारे देश में बचाया जाता है। सिर्फ 8%। अब समय आ गया है इस समस्या का समाधान निकाला जाए। मुझे विश्वास है हम दूसरी और समस्याओं की तरह ही जन भागीदारी से, जनशक्ति से 130 करोड़ देशवासियों के सामर्थ्य, सहयोग और संकल्प से इस संकट का भी समाधान कर लेंगे। जल की महत्ता को सर्वोपरि रखते हुए देश में नया जल शक्ति मंत्रालय बनाया गया है। इससे पानी से संबंधित सभी विषयों पर तेजी से फैसले लिए जा सकते हैं।
Making three-pronged appeal to the countrymen, PM Modi called upon the people to make water conservation a mass movement on lines of Swachh Bharat.
मेरा पहला अनुरोध है, जैसे देशवासियों ने स्वच्छता को एक जन आंदोलन का रूप दे दिया, आइए वैसे ही जल संरक्षण के लिए एक जन आंदोलन की शुरुआत करें।
He also appealed to the people to share amongst themselves traditional methods to conserve water.
देशवासियों से मेरा दूसरा अनुरोध है, हमारे देश में पानी के संरक्षण के लिए कई पारंपरिक तौर तरीके सदियों से उपयोग में लाए जा रहे हैं। मैं आप सभी से जल संरक्षण के उन पारंपरिक तरीकों को शेयर करने का आग्रह करता हूं।
PM Modi also asked people to create a database of people, institutes and all those working in field of water conservation.
आप सभी से मेरा तीसरा अनुरोध है, जल संरक्षण की दिशा में महत्वपूर्ण योगदान देने वाले व्यक्तियों का, स्वयंसेवी संस्थाओं का और इस क्षेत्र में काम करने वाले हर किसी का पानी के लिए सक्रिय संगठनों का, व्यक्तियों का एक डेटाबेस बनाया जा सके। आप सभी #जनशक्ति फॉर जल शक्ति हैशटैग का उपयोग करके अपना कंटेंट शेयर कर सकते हैं।
He also used #Janshakti for Jal Shakti with the people to share their content on the subject. Bureau Report, DD News.
And the Minister of Information and Broadcasting, Prakash Javadekar, said Mann Ki Baat is the voice of the people. He said that Prime Minister Modi highlighted the importance of water conservation and urged people to save it.
ये मन की बात है, ये जैसे उन्होंने कहा जन की बात है और इसलिए ये एक अद्भुत कार्यक्रम है। ऐसा कार्यक्रम दुनिया में नहीं होता। सब मिलकर ये सुनना, क्योंकि समाज का भाव वैसे ही जागरूक होता है। उन्होंने आज पानी के संचय की, पानी के बचत की और पानी के निर्माण की बात की। आज देश में सबसे बड़ा संकट अगर कोई है तो पानी का है और हमें इससे सबको तैयारी करनी है। नल को पानी आता है घर में, इसलिए कैसा भी खर्च करे ये ठीक नहीं है।
And people across the nation hailed the Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat. Let's listen into what they had to say.
आज मन की बात में आदरणीय मोदी जी का जो सुना वो बहुत मन को लगा, बिकॉज ये जो उन्होंने उपक्रम किया है वो सब कॉमन मैन के मन में जा रहा है, ऐसे अभी तक कभी हुआ नहीं था। सो हम लोग बहुत खुश है। और आज जो उन्होंने संदेश दिया है कि पानी के बारे में, सो वो हम हर एक जगह इम्प्लीमेंट करने की कोशिश करेंगे। सो छोटे सोसाइटी से बड़े तालाब तक हम लोग पानी की बचाव करेंगे, और वो बहुत अच्छा मैसेज दिया है।
मन की बात, जन की बात, जन जन की बात, जन मन की बात, यही जो मैसेज उन्हें दिया, जो आम जनता के सब बातें उनका मुंह से हम सुन रहा है।
The government will table a bill that seeks to facilitate the reservation of the posts of teachers in central government's institutions of higher education for passage in Lok Sabha today. While in Rajya Sabha, the Jammu and Kashmir Reservation Amendment Bill of 2019 will be tabled. The bill was passed in the Lok Sabha on Friday. BJP, meanwhile, has issued a whip in the upper house for the smooth passage of the bill. And my colleague Shailendra Mishra joins us for more from the Parliament. Shailendra, good morning. What all is lined up today? What is expected in both the houses?
जी देखिए, आज संसद के दोनों सदनों में कई अहम विधेयक चर्चा के लिए, पारित कराने के लिए सदन के पटल पर रखे जाने हैं, जिसमें सबसे महत्वपूर्ण जम्मू कश्मीर आरक्षण संशोधन विधेयक है, जो शुक्रवार को लोकसभा में पारित हुआ था। राज्यसभा में उसे आज सदन के पटल पर रखा जाएगा पारित कराने के लिए। हम जानते हैं कि इस विधेयक में दरअसल अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सीमा के निकट रहने वाले जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों को 3% आरक्षण का प्रावधान है, यानी अभी तक जो नियंत्रण रेखा पर रहने वाले लोगों को जो आरक्षण का लाभ मिलता है, वो लाभ अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सीमा पर के निकट रहने वाले लोगों को भी मिलेगा। हम जानते हैं कि लोकसभा में ये विधेयक पारित हो चुका है और सरकार की कोशिश ये रहेगी कि आज ये विधेयक राज्यसभा में भी चर्चा के बाद पारित हो जाए, चूँकि 10 ऐसे विधेयक हैं जिन पर जल्द से जल्द सरकार आगे बढ़ना चाहती है, और यही वजह है कि आज राज्यसभा में जम्मू कश्मीर आरक्षण से जुड़े विधेयक को लिस्टेड किया गया है। वहीं लोकसभा में टीचर्स के रिजर्वेशन से संबंधित विश्वविद्यालयों में विधेयक को सरकार आगे बढ़ाने की कोशिश करेगी, वो लोकसभा में आज लिस्टेड है। इसके अलावा 2 और अहम विधेयक, एक होम्योपैथी परिषद से जुड़ा एक विधेयक राज्यसभा में लिस्टेड है। इसके साथ ही साथ लोकसभा में एक और विधेयक है, वो लिस्टेड किया गया। तो निश्चित तौर पर विधायी कामकाज से लिहाज से देखें तो सरकार की कोशिश यह है कि जल्द से जल्द विधायी कामकाज को दोनों सदनों में आगे बढ़ाया जाए। और जहां तक राज्यसभा का सवाल है, पार्टी ने, बीजेपी ने व्हिप भी जारी किया अपने सांसदों को कि वो सदन में मौजूद रहे।
All right, Shailendra, thanks very much for joining us with those inputs. So, a lot of important bills lined up in both the houses of the Parliament, and Bharatiya Janata Party issuing a whip to its members in the Rajya Sabha for the smooth functioning of the all-important Jammu and Kashmir Reservation Amendment Bill of 2019. We'll keep an eye on that and keep getting you the latest from the Parliament. Right now, we move on. Amid foolproof security, the 45-day annual Amarnath pilgrimage began simultaneously on the Pahalgam and Baltal routes in Kashmir from today. The first batch of 2,234 pilgrims, which left yesterday morning from Bhagwati Nagar base camp in Jammu, proceeded for an onward journey to the cave shrine from the base camps in Kashmir. The first batch will reach the twin base camps by this evening. The Army, the Central Reserve Police Force and the Jammu and Kashmir Police have been tasked with providing security to the pilgrims, and a multi-tier security arrangement has been planned for the yatra. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has warned officials against any complacency in the security arrangements for the yatra and directed them to strictly implement the standard operating procedures for the pilgrimage. The yatra will conclude on the 15th of August. And my colleague Rama Tyagi, who has been tracking the Amarnath Yatra, joins us for more on this. Good morning, Rama. An important day for Hindu devotees, the Amarnath Yatra beginning there. Have you been able to talk to the devotees there? I'm sure it is a moment of deep devotion and enthusiasm for them.
Yes, Shreya, great enthusiasm we are seeing here. First batch departed at 5 AM, and since then people are moving from here to Holy Cave, and you can see despite this tough terrain, despite the cold weather,
Yes.
People in large number, they are coming and they are waiting for their turn, and obviously the arrangements by Amarnath Shrine Board and security forces, combined security forces, they are all also very good this time, and they're also infusing confidence among the devotees and the support of locals also, because they are also welcoming them as their brother, because it's a old tradition of Kashmiriyat, and you can see if we talk about the arrangements, different camps are there apart from base camps, and
Yes.
Ambulances are there, medical camps are there, mountain rescue teams are there, and if we talk about security, multi-layer security is here, and first time the devotees, they are given the barcodes, which are the basic component of identification, a full identification. Their phone numbers are there, their addresses are there, and they are given 3 slips which are checked at different points. So you can see foolproof security and better arrangement. Different langars are organized by different people here, and
Yes.
apart from this, toilets are made, so you can see all the things which can make the devotees comfortable. They those arrangements have been done here.
All right, Rama, thanks very much for joining us with those inputs. We'll keep coming back to you for the latest from the Amarnath Yatra. Moving on, the second anniversary of the implementation of the historic tax reform of the Goods and Services Tax, or the GST, as 1st July is celebrated as the GST Day. Kicking off celebrations, the Finance Ministry will today come up with further reforms in the indirect tax system, with the introduction of the new return system, rationalization of cash ledger system, and a single refund disbursing mechanism, among others. The Minister of State for Finance and Corporate Affairs, Anurag Thakur, will preside over the event alongside key secretaries and officials of various departments. The introduction of GST was a game changer for the Indian economy, as it has replaced the multi-layered complex indirect tax structure with a simple, transparent and technology-driven tax regime. The ministry said it will introduce the new return system on a trial basis from the 1st of July and on mandatory basis from the 1st of October. Now, at the event, a book on GST for MSME will also be released. And Ajay Mishra, my colleague, is joining us for more on this on the phone line. He's on the phone line with us. Good morning, Ajay. So, you know, a historic day, 2 years of the GST. The Finance Ministry is expected to come up with some changes. Could you elaborate those changes and the new reforms that we can expect today? All right, I believe we've lost that connection with Ajay. We'll get back to him as soon as we can connect with Ajay. Moving on, monsoon rains may have kept Mumbai waiting, but now that the dark clouds are well and truly over the maximum city, showers have been quite relentless. It has been raining heavily in many parts of the city and its suburbs since the wee hours of Monday morning, that is today, and there are no signals of a let-up on the horizon. Dark clouds persist over the city and commuters have been told to exercise caution. The Met Department has predicted heavy showers to continue for most parts of the day with only intermittent breaks. The Met has also predicted high tide today, asking locals to stay away from beaches. According to the Western Railway, heavy water logging was reported on tracks at Palghar at about 4:30 due to incessant rains during the night. 9 trains have been cancelled for shortly terminated. And my colleague Shama Mishra is joining us for more on this on the phone line. Good morning, Shama. You know, we've seen that Mumbai does struggle with its heavy rainfall during the monsoon season. How is the weather today? I believe it has been raining since morning.
Yes, it has been raining since morning, and it has been raining heavily. We have been seeing that, the entire month of June was totally dry, and in the last 4 to 5 days, we have been receiving a heavy to very heavy rainfall. Now, what has happened in Central Railway, that a goods train has derailed in the Ghat section between the Jamrung and the Thakurwadi, which falls on the Karjat-Lonavla section on the down line, and it has, infringed all the middle lines. So intercity trains leaving Mumbai for Pune down direction, they have been cancelled, and long distance trains from Mumbai via Pune, those trains are diverted. Also, we've been seeing that water logging at various station tracks that has led to trains slowing down in Western Railway, Harbour Railway, and Central Railway as well. The waterlogging, the problem of waterlogging in vehicular traffic has also been witnessed at Sain, the entire Sain flyover area, Hind Mata, Parel, and other areas, and this has caused the vehicular jam and also diversion of best routes, which is the Mumbai buses and various other vehicular traffic. So, lifeline here we can say, including the trains, that has been thrown out of here, and people are going to their workplaces, to their offices in a very slow mode. But yes, they are going, and the kids, as we know, they are enjoying the waterlogging and all these areas, because it may be seen that the schools would be asked to leave early if the same amount of rain continues. Also, we are going to witness a high tide at around 11-ish because it's already raining heavily. That causes a little of danger in the seas, because the water has already touched the shores and touched the areas where it is the coast, and people are advised not to go too close to the sea. And during these times, we are seeing that the youth particularly, they come out of their college, they come out of their offices and try to take selfies. So yesterday, because it was Sunday, it was a weekend, we saw all police personnel along Marine Drive, along Nariman Point, and various other sea faces areas, so that they can control the crowd and avoid any untoward incident that could have happened.
Yes.
So, yeah.
All right, Shama, thanks very much for all those inputs. Stay safe, all of you there in Mumbai, and we'll get back to you for the latest from the Maximum City. All right, before we went to Shama, we were trying to connect with Ajay, and we have him back on the phone line with us to talk about GST completing 2 years. Ajay, the Finance Ministry is expected to come up with some reforms today. What are those changes that we can expect?
So the roadmap of GST is already there. This is a celebration of 2 years of implementation of GST in the country, Shreya, and we can expect that a handbook for MSMEs will be released, in which government will try to list out all those measures which will ease the doing business for MSMEs going forward. For example, government has decided that the accounting procedures will be given free of cost to the MSMEs whose turnover is less than 1 crore rupees. Also, as against earlier, when the GST returns was to be filed monthly, from January 2020, it will be just once in 3 months for MSMEs. For companies more than 1 crore turnover, will have to be monthly filing, but for MSMEs it will be a great relief, and for all the companies the annual filing of return will be done just once. So the procedures are going to be easier a lot more from now onwards. And secondly, the rate and the restructuring of the GST going forward. It is endeavor of the government to make it more simpler for the businesses, and that's what the government will try to showcase.
Right, Ajay, when the GST was introduced, it was such a game-changing move that, you didn't have to go through the multi-layered tax system. You just had one single tax regime. All these past 2 years, how do you see the journey of GST in terms of the goals it achieved and the challenges that it faced?
So, we have been tracking GST since almost 15 to 17 years of negotiations, and we have seen that the biggest challenge before the state government was the revenue loss, and all the state governments were complaining that when the GST will be implemented, there will be revenue loss to some of the states, and that's why it's not been implemented in full. But when the NDA government came and they took the historic decision of compensation to the states for the next 5 years of implementation. If there is any revenue loss to the states, the central assured them that they will be compensated in full. And also the devolution within the GST, it was promised more for them. So as against the earlier promise of a certain percentage, the state governments were given more share out of the indirect taxes, and that brought the confidence among the state governments, and we have seen that all the decisions in the GST Council led by the then Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has been done by consensus. And that was the big, when it comes to the negotiations on the table. So going forward, I think the petroleum products, the lottery system, some of the luxury items like electrical vehicles, what should be the rate, which has been referred to the fitment committee, are likely to be discussed, and all the decisions are likely to be taken by unanimous decisions by the state governments. That's the feeling that the finance ministry is giving us.
All right, Ajay, thanks very much for those inputs on the second anniversary of the goods and services tax. Moving on, 5 Indian sailors who were recently released from the captivity of Nigerian pirates will be reaching Mumbai today. T.S. Tirumurthy, Secretary in the Economic Relations of Ministry of External Affairs, in a tweet on Sunday said, and I quote, "Our seafarers on MT Apicus, Sudeep, Chirag, Avinash, Ankit and Ravi, who have been released from captivity in Nigeria, are returning to Mumbai tomorrow. I thank Petronov Carriers LLC, Nigerian Maritime Authorities and the Indian High Commission in Nigeria for their efforts," unquote. Now, these Indian sailors, remember, were kidnapped from their vessel MT Apicus on 19th April this year and were taken ashore off Bonny Island in Nigeria. They were rescued on June 27th and are now in safe custody of the Indian authorities in Abuja. The High Commission of India in Nigeria had sought the assistance from the Nigerian Navy and other security agencies to track these abducted Indian sailors. And from one good news to the other, Aparna Kumar, DIG Indo-Tibetan Border Police, has achieved yet another feat. Aparna created history by becoming the first civil servant to scale North America's highest peak, that is Mount Denali. Aparna Kumar is a 2002 batch Uttar Pradesh cadre IPS officer. She is posted as the DIG at the Northern Frontier headquarters of ITBP in Dehradun. The IPS officer has completed her 7th Summits Challenge. Asia's biggest robotics competition, IRC, held its Open League at Gurugram on Sunday. The Open League of the 10th season saw 45+ teams participating from various schools. This year's theme, Bot Olympics, focuses on encouraging children to come up with agile, audacious and resolute robots. The league touches 15 to 20,000 children who aspire a future into robotics. And let's get you international news now. Donald Trump has become the first sitting US president to set foot in North Korea after meeting Kim Jong-un in the area dividing the two Koreas. Trump and the North Korean leader posed for handshakes before talking for nearly an hour in the heavily fortified demilitarized zone. The two leaders agreed to resume and push forward productive dialogues for making a new breakthrough in the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Kim said the meeting was a symbol of the excellent relationship between him and Donald Trump. Their first summit, remember, took place in a blaze of publicity in Singapore last year, but produced only a vaguely worded pledge about denuclearization. A second meeting in Vietnam in February that intended to put flesh on those bones collapsed after the pair failed to reach an agreement over sanctions relief and what the North was willing to give in return. Trump said after the meeting that they had agreed working level talks on the North's arsenal and that would take place within weeks. Senator Kamala Harris's campaign is clapping back to trolls that says she isn't black enough, garnering support even from competitors in the crowded field of Democratic presidential candidates. On Twitter, Trump Jr. promoted a post questioning the racial identity of Harris, the Oakland-born biracial child of a Jamaican father and an Indian mother. All of Harris's major primary rivals united in her defense. Democratic presidential candidate Julian Castro said that Donald Trump Jr. is like a coward for tweeting and deleting a racist attack on Kamala Harris. Critics compared the birtherism claims to President Barack Obama's experience. It said Obama, born to an American mother and a Kenyan father, was not born in the United States and was not therefore qualified to be president. A European Council summit to choose a new European Commission president and other top posts was delayed and then paused late on Sunday after leaders were unable to reach a compromise. The impasse is centered on the nominee to succeed outgoing Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker, which requires the approval of 21 of the 28 leaders, EU leaders representing 65% of the bloc's population. Once EU leaders nominate candidates, these must be approved by the European Parliament. EU Council President Donald Tusk, who was leading the talks on Sunday, put the summit on hold to spend more time negotiating the candidacy with individual EU leaders. He said that the talks will continue at breakfast on Monday. The rare Sunday summit was called because EU leaders failed on 20th of June to agree on candidates for the Commission President's job and other top posts. In Sudan, thousands of protesters marched towards Defense Ministry yesterday, demanding the ruling military hand over power to the civilians. Sudan's military overthrew President Omar al-Bashir on April 11th after months of demonstrations against his rule. Now, opposition groups kept up those demonstrations as they pressed the military to hand over to civilians, but talks broke down after security services raided a sit-in protest outside the Defense Ministry on June 3rd. The Forces for Freedom and Change opposition coalition called for 1 million people to turn out on Sunday, the 30th anniversary of the coup that brought Bashir to power in 1989, and the African Union's deadline for the military rulers to hand over to civilians or face further sanctions. Anti-government protesters in Hong Kong took over key roads early this morning ahead of a mass-planned pro-democracy rally on the anniversary of the city's handover to China. Now, the city has been shaken by historic demonstrations in the past 3 weeks when protesters have demanded the withdrawal of a bill that would allow extraditions to the Chinese mainland. Pro-democracy activists have organized a march every handover anniversary, calling for greater democratic freedoms, such as the right to elect the city's leader. The pro-democracy rally is scheduled to take place this afternoon, following the same route that the two mass rallies last month took from a park to the city's legislature. Earlier on Sunday, tens of thousands of pro-establishment protesters rallied in support of Hong Kong's police. In Texas, a small twin-engine plane crashed into a hangar during takeoff at a Dallas area airport today morning. 10 people on board the plane were killed in the crash. The twin-engine Beechcraft was taking off from the Addison airport when it crashed into a hangar. No one was inside the hangar when the plane crashed. In Spain, authorities ordered further evacuation as firefighters battle the worst wildfire in 20 years as Europe swelters in the grip of an intense heat wave. About 500 firefighters and soldiers backed by 14 water-dropping aircraft were battling the wildfire that started Friday evening in the central town of Almarox. Firefighters said that temperatures approaching 40 degrees Celsius, low humidity and high winds which frequently changed direction were making it hard to put out the blaze. To the much relief of people, meteorologists forecast the heat wave to die down from today. Volcanic eruptions in Papua New Guinea have forced 15,000 villagers in the country's northeast to flee their homes. Mount Ulawun on PNG's northeastern island of New Britain erupted suddenly last Wednesday, shooting an ash column 18 kilometers into the air, while nearby Manam exploded on Friday, sending pyroclastic flows down its slopes. Villagers on PNG's Manam Island called for the government assistance after the volcanic eruption destroyed their homes as well as water and food sources. Both eruptions sent ash columns soaring over 50,000 feet where they posed a danger to commercial aviation. And with that, let's go across to my colleague Aanchal, who is joining us with everything that is making news in the world of finance.
Well, thank you very much, Shriya. Let's have a look at what are the main economic news which are making headlines in the world of business. To provide an impetus to digital funds movement, the central bank had decided to go away with the processing charges and time-varying charges levied on banks by the RBI for outward transactions through the RTGS, as also the processing charges for transactions processed in NEFT will be waived by RBI. Fund transfer through RTGS and NEFT systems is set to become cheaper from today after RBI decided it will not impose any charges on such transactions. The real-time gross settlement RTGS system is meant for large value fund transfers, while National Electronic Fund Transfer, that is NEFT, system is used for fund transfers of up to rupees 2 lakh. In a major respite to consumers, non-subsidized cooking gas cylinders LPG will cost rupees 100 less in Delhi from today. The cooking gas in Delhi has been priced at rupees 637 per cylinder as against rupees 737 currently. Subsidized cooking gas price will be rupees 494.35 paisa per cylinder. Following the move, the balance amount would be transferred to the customer's bank account after the purchase of the refill. The decision to slash prices has been taken in the backdrop of softening international rates. And that's all we have in this edition of Finance World. Back to Shreya for more updates.
Thanks very much, Aanchal, for all those updates. Let's switch to sports now. And, well, England reignited their World Cup campaign with a superb display to defeat India by 31 runs at Edgbaston. Now, the hosts bounced back from successive losses to defeat the only unbeaten team left in the tournament and will definitely reach the semi-finals with a win against New Zealand on Wednesday. Although England's bowling was disciplined, there was the fear that India could pull off the highest chase in World Cup history when Virat Kohli was sharing 138 with Rohit Sharma, who went on to complete a century after Kohli departed for 66. But, well, that was not to be.
England's favoured aggressive batting came to the fore as they capitalised on captain Ian Morgan's decision to bat first on a good pitch. Johnny Bristow and Jason Roy saw off two fine opening spells from India's frontline opening pair before taking on the others, enabled England to race off to a terrific start. England stepped on the gas, notching up their 100 in the 16th and then their 150 in the 21st over as India's spin pair of Yuzvendra Chahal and Kuldeep Yadav were taken to the cleaners. Roy soon fell to a tremendous diving catch by Ravindra Jadeja. England, though, hardly lost any momentum. Johnny Bristow went on to bring up his 100 of 90 balls. Bristow's 100 should have been the boost for the host, but it turned out on the contrary. Shami finally had the better of him, having seen a number of close shaves during his first spell. Then Shami bounced out Ian Morgan to bring India firmly back in the contest.
It's gone high, and it's taken for the second time.
The phase from overs 27 to 37 saw England with no boundaries and with just 25 runs. Ben Stokes battled hard, but India found some wind in their sails. Shami returned to the death to send back Root for a relatively subdued 44 of 54 balls. Shami got the better of Butler as India breathed another big sigh of relief, but that was only temporary. Shami took his first fifer by getting rid of Chris Wokes, but then Stokes kept up the pyrotechnics with more big hits.
It's been hit well. Long off, tries to give chase, can't.
The penultimate over brought England another 15, while Bumrah gave away just 3 and got rid of Stokes for 79 of 54 balls as England managed 92 from the last 10 overs, finishing with 337 for 7, even though at one stage they looked extremely likely to get closer to 400. Set a commanding 338 runs for victory, the visitors got off to a worst possible start, with opener KL Rahul getting out with the scoreboard reading just 8. India could have been in a deeper crisis, but Root spilled Rohit, then on 4, at slip of Jofra Archer. Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma then shared a 138-run partnership. Rohit smashed his third 100 of the tournament and Virat Kohli his fifth successive half-century. But then, Captain Kohli made 66 of 76 ball before he was dismissed by Liam Plunkett. Rohit too soon fell to Wokes after making 102, which included 15 boundaries. Rishabh Pant made 32 in his World Cup debut and Hardik Pandya chipped in with a 45-run cameo, but Mahendra Singh Dhoni, who made 42 not out, failed to get going in the later stages and India finished on 306 for 5. With this win, England leapfrogged Pakistan to 4th place with 10 points from 8 games, while India remained second on 11 points from 7 matches. Mukesh Shukla's report, TD News, Birmingham.
That they were beaten by England.
And about today's match, Sri Lanka will take on the West Indies at the Emirates Riverside Ground in Durham. Sri Lanka stands 7th in the points table, whereas the men from the Caribbean are on a disappointing 9th place. This is expected to be a good contest between two sides who have struggled to stay afloat in the tournament. And after that, let's take a look at the newspapers that have been published from Delhi. We start with the Times of India, and it is carrying news about Jal Shakti Abhiyan, which is going to be starting in the cities from today. And the focus will be on recycle and reuse. That's going to be the emphasis in urban areas where much of the used water is dumped into rivers and other water bodies. While in rural areas, the target will be to promote conservation and harvesting rainwater. The first phase of the campaign will start today. Now, the focus activities, as I told you, is water conservation and rainwater harvesting, renovation of traditional and other water bodies or tanks, reusing borewell recharge structures, watershed development, intensive afforestation, integration of government programs, and the progress and strict monitoring will be through reports which will be submitted online on a designated portal, mobile application and dashboard for monitoring, and the Secretariat will be set up to oversee it. So that's going to be one important step towards water conservation amid, of course, the water crisis that is faced in several states across the country. Moving on to the Hindustan Times, it is getting us news about the monsoon. Well, it says after the initial lull, monsoon may resume advance today. That is according to the Met Department. It says it may reach Delhi around or after the 7th of July, and heavy rainfall can be expected in Odisha, Chhattisgarh and Telangana. Now, the IMD says that the slow progress of monsoon has delayed sowing of crops such as rice this season, and the overall deficit in the country is of about 33% of rainfall. That is, and in the east and northeast it is about 37%. In the northwest it is 32%, and in central India it is about 31%. But the good news is that it is going to resume, and it's going to reach all the other states in the first or the second weeks of July. All right, moving on to the Indian Express, it is getting us an article by Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad, and he is talking about digital India, the digital power that India can use to make its way forward globally. He says creating a digital interface between governments and citizens has helped curb corruption and delays in service delivery. Now, the next step involves digitizing internal process of the government. He also goes on to say that our government understands the potential of data for creating a vibrant data economy, and soon we will bring a personal data protection law that will not only address the privacy concerns of individuals, curb misuse of personal data, but it will also be an enabler for creating a vibrant data economy. Data centers, data value addition, data startups, data exchanges would be some of the crucial elements of the data economy, and the government will be focusing on that to make India make its way forward digitally in the world. Lastly, this is a news coming in from Jammu and Kashmir, and it is a heartwarming story of the only woman deputy commissioner in the Budgam district, Sayyid Sehrish Asghar, who has made her focus on providing help to girls, school students who drop out due to their menstruation. And now what she's done is, starting today, all higher secondary girls' schools and colleges of Budgam district and adjoining Srinagar will have sanitary napkin dispensers and incinerators installed. The district administration's efforts are focused on bringing girls who have dropped out because of concerns of personal hygiene back to school and prevent their absence from classrooms. The current, remember, dropout rate is close to 20%, according to this woman deputy commissioner, who is making all of us proud with her actions. Well, that's it in the newspaper section, and today is 1st of July. Let's take a look at what happened back in the day today.
It was on this day in 1862 that the Kolkata High Court, which is the oldest high court in India, was opened under the High Courts Act 1861. It has jurisdiction over the state of West Bengal and the Union Territory of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. It was on this day in 1949 that the merger of two princely states of India, Cochin and Travancore, into the state of Tirukochi in the Indian Union took place, ending more than 1,000 years of princely rule by the Cochin royal family. It was on this day in 1994 that the chairman of the Palestinian Liberation Organization, Yasser Arafat, returned to the Gaza Strip after 27 years in exile. It was on this day in 1997 that Hong Kong reverted back to Chinese rule at a ceremony attended by British Prime Minister Tony Blair, Prince Charles of Wales, Chinese President Jiang Zemin and US Secretary of State Madeleine Albright. It was on this day in 2004 that the international mission to Saturn, known as Cassini-Huygens, successfully went into orbit around the planet.
And after that, we now take a look at the events that are listed for later today.
Union Minister for Jal Shakti Gajendra Singh Shekhawat to launch Jal Shakti Abhiyan, a new pan-India scheme in New Delhi. Union Minister of State of Finance and Corporate Affairs Anurag Thakur to be the chief guest at the celebration of GST Day on the second anniversary of implementation of the historic tax reform of goods and services tax. The Air Forces of India and France to take part in a joint exercise named Garuda 6 at Mont de Marsan in France, which will see the participation of fighter jets like Rafale, Mirage 2000, Sukhoi 30 from the two sides. It will continue till the 12th of July. Union Finance Ministry to launch the 11th tranche of electoral bonds sale. Supreme Court to reopen after 6 weeks summer vacation. The 46-day annual Yatra to the holy cave shrine of Amarnath in South Kashmir to commence from today, the day of Masik Shivratri, and would conclude on August 15, the day of Shravan Purnima.
And now it's time for a Good News India story. Well, have you ever heard of a library in the middle of a forest? Well, a school teacher in Kerala, with the help of a tea stall owner, created a library for tribal children in a village in Idukki. Now, it was a unique idea, an out-of-the-box idea that is helping the tribals a great deal. Take a look.
We've seen libraries in big cities and even in small towns, but this library is in the middle of a dense forest. It would take you some time to reach the library, which until recently was functioning out of a tea shop. There is a small tribal village, Idamalakodi, in Idukki district of Kerala. The tribals took a liking to books, and hence primary school teacher P.K. Muralidharan took the initiative to open a library. P.V. Chinnathampi, who runs a small tea shop, came to his aid. The two worked hard to create the library. There was a time when they packed the books and loaded them on their backs to bring them to the library. It started with a collection of 160 books. Now the library has support from local journalists and others and has found a place in the local school.
लोग पढ़ लिख तो रहे हैं, साक्षर तो हो रहे हैं, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं उनकी किताबें पढ़ने की आदत छूटती जा रही है। इसलिए हमारी आदिवासी पंचायत ने मिलकर फैसला लिया है कि हम एक लाइब्रेरी इस जंगल के बीच में खोलें, ताकि यहाँ की आदिवासी जनता में ये आदत पनप सके।
The library is known as Akshara Library. It has more than 1,000 books on date. The choice of books too is interesting. They include translations of Tamil classics and epics, local literature, and books on Mahatma Gandhi. The light of knowledge is spreading through Idamalakodi. Muralidharan and Chinnathampi have lit up the lives of these children and the village people through their Akshara Library. Good News India, Idukki, Kerala, TD News.
And on that wonderful note, let's take a look at the weather update from your city. Well, that's all that we have in this edition of Breakfast Show. But before we leave, we are taking you to United States, where a hillside in California's Wine County has been brought to life with thousands of colorful solar-powered lights. Take a look at those beautiful visuals. Thank you so much for joining us right now, and have a wonderful day ahead.